It is time to expand minds through movies, TV, sports, and flicks. It is time to boldly go where no podcast has gone before. It is time for the Captain Talks Flicks.
The Captain Talk Flicks.
Welcome to the Captain Talk Flicks podcast. I'm your host, the Captain Cortez, aka Mr. Love, and this is where we talk flicks. And ladies and gentlemen, this past week, once again, I went to the world of Spy vs. Spy, to the great game, to the wilderness of mirrors. I went back to Langley in Virginia and went to my cubicle and researched analysis, intelligence, and did red team exercises to try to solve problems. Ladies and gentlemen, I did none of those things because I don't work there or ever go there. In fact, I've never been on a plane. This is a true story. But what I did do is I did watch the TV show CIA on CBS. CIA on CBS, hear that? So yeah, I did that. Before I get into a couple things, I want to give a big shout out to London. Got some place in London this past week. Gracias, gratitude, Doraba. In London, one of your peeps from your town, there's a spy podcast I listen to regularly. I post on my page a few different times. Great podcast, love it. And additionally, I've always wanted to go to London all the time. The James Bond movie shows all the time, all these spy shows I show all the time. I listen to grime music when it comes from London as well. Yeah, so London, I've always wanted to go there. And just London seems like a phenomenal city. So one of these days, I have to fly over there, have some food, have some chippies, see Michael Bisping, listen to some grime music. So yeah, thanks. Listen, appreciate guys' gratitude. And additionally, this episode is brought to you by my album called Welcome to the Great Game by me, Che Cortez. It's me rapping in my unique style over synthy hip-hop type beats. And this particular album kind of goes into the mindset or thought experiment that maybe this life is a game. And in these songs, I kind of go over things I think will help us navigate this game better, right? So if you want to hear this album, click below, check it out. Now, let's get into the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, this week on CIA, Colin gets a call from Anne. I'm not talking about the ASMR artist. And for people on YouTube who know who she is, I'm talking about Anne in this TV show. He gets a call from Anne, who's the lady of a CIA case officer operative, and he instructed her to contact Colin if there was any kind of problem. And so in this particular show, spoiler, there was a problem. And it was up to Colin and Bill to figure it out. So while looking at this figure to out, they discovered who they thought the mole might be. Because in this particular series, the connecting story has been there's a mole in CIA New York Station. And they've been trying to find it, all season. So in this particular episode, oh yeah, they think they know who it is. And so I'm not going to spoil it, let you watch that. But what I'm doing right now is get some things from the show that I found very interesting. There's 3 things as a spy fan that kind of want to dive into a little bit deeper. First of all, in the show, one of the characters says the quote, "Spies don't die of old age, they die of paranoia." Now, I've read tons of books. I've listened to tons of podcasts. I saw tons of movies. I've read tons of research papers and white papers and papers that were, distributed to CIA officers. Yeah, I'm that interested in the topic. It's fascinating to me. So in all these particular things I was doing, I never ever heard that quote, believe it or not. And you gotta understand, I've been diving into this for like 16, 18 years, a long time. And I just never encountered this. I was like, how did I not encounter this? I don't know, I just never did. But anyways, if this is a true thing, because sometimes writers make things up, but I suspect that that's probably true. Because it makes sense. It does make total sense. And so it makes sense. I was like, this is very interesting. So let me just tell you this. When I start reading a spy book, and I'm really into it, I'm reading one currently, I'm kind of into it. I haven't read it for a while, but I've been into it, I've been reading it. And as I read this spy book over months, it does make me a tad bit annoyed, paranoid, slightly, just a little bit, not too much, slightly. And this is a mark of a good story. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because I don't live in that world. I have a regular job. podcasting and do regular stuff. I'm not in that space, the great game, none of that at all. Never went to school for to join anything, none of that. But I do get a little paranoid from just reading the book slightly. And I'm not in the world. So if you were in that world, that you really lived it, yeah, I bet you get super paranoid. How could they not? There's another quote in the show like, yeah, this is part of the game, but it's part of the world. Paranoia is part of the business. And so with me just reading books, to be honest, slightly, living it must be super, super tense, paranoid all the time. And so it's interesting, I never heard this, and it makes sense. And they were saying basically you would die from paranoia, probably because you're making bad choices. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, get a little taste of just by reading the books. Yeah, they're a really good book. So I found that very interesting. Also, additionally, now if you've been watching this show, you know Colin had initially went to some woman's house, they said hi to her kid, right? And was, it looked like Colin was in a relationship, like a real relationship. And I talked about the early podcast, like, what's going on here? Is he got a woman? Is he not? And as the story went on, new information came up. I was like, oh, what's happening? Is she working him? Is he working her? What's going on? Now, in this particular episode, we get conclusion to that. So we find out that basically Sarah, which is the woman that Colin was seeing, it was an op, and it was an assignment for him to find them all, help find them all. Now, when she finds out that Colin is a CIA case officer, she's hurt and devastated. I mean, who wouldn't be? You fall in love or talk to a human being, and you find out that they're not what they present themselves to be, and they're just talking to you or being with you to get something, right? I mean, it would suck. I mean, she's crying and she's all messed up. Now, I've dated many women over my many years, and I've never experienced that. And I hope I never experience that. But I would feel very something type of way to know that some woman was just with me for whatever reason. It didn't really care about me, didn't love me. You know what I mean? That'd suck. It would. So you see that, going on there. And there's a moment in the show where, the lady Sarah asked, Colin directly, was this just an assignment to you? Did you fall in love with me or something like that? And he says no. Now, I do want to go ahead and dig in a little deeper, because he told her no, it was just an assignment. He didn't care for her. But I have a running theory, the last 10 years. And this is just a running theory about just life in general, not really spy work. But I don't understand, or I don't believe that you can spend time with a human being, for long periods and see them regularly and not feel a certain type of way about them. I don't see how you could somehow not like the person. Now, I've saw some movies that were based on true stories where, men would go undercover to get people, right? And they would say, yeah, they're a likable human being. They like them. They spend time with them. And it was time to separate, do the job they had to do. Take care of the business. They did their business and they got the criminal, whatever. But there was, part of the person that, liked it, because you're in that life and you're playing the role and you're in it. And those are real feelings. You go out there doing certain things, you're really feeling these things. You can't go do stuff and spend time with it and not feel a certain way, or maybe you can. And to get back to what I say about people being sociopaths, maybe the reason they do pick sociopaths, because it's easier for them to not have that connection with a human like that when they're in cover and trying to, access, assets, all these things. Even that being said, Colin does not feel the type of individual that he could do that. I feel he may have told her that, but he probably had some kind of feelings for her, and he just didn't want to tell her that. I mean, because, obviously, the business required that you don't. Even if you did, you could have. I mean, I'm no spy, but obviously, it probably wouldn't be his best interest to tell her how he really felt. But I suspect he did feel that way. Now, there's a show called The Bureau, which is my favorite spy show of all time. And you see this happen in the show, and it's the opposite of what Colin said. The officer, who's actually a French officer in the French spy service, falls for his asset or his markers, whatever, whatever, his op. And I just find it hard to believe that someone can spend so much time over time and not fall over them or feel certain way. But maybe you can, I don't know. So, so that's in the show. The last thing I want to talk about is this. In the show, the guy Sandy that contacts Colin, right? This dude has a woman, and I told you, and not ASMR Ann, but Ann, the one from the show. And he never told his lady what he did. Like, he kept that to himself. Now, as someone that's gone down the rabbit hole of this, like I told you, this has been talked about a lot. And a lot of the people that were in the company, the agency, had said that they would keep it from the woman, they keep it from the man, but at some point they should tell him. But not 50 years. I'd never heard anybody say they took 50 years for them to tell somebody. Or you never told them that long. I mean, I'm sure it's possible, sure it happens, but I never heard those stories. Also with their kids too, they won't tell their kids for a long time sometimes. Or sometimes they never tell their kids. It just depends. Now, what it used to be, I don't know if it's still this way or not, or how it is, but I know it was kind of the prerogative of the officers or people that work there to determine who to tell, what to tell, and if to tell and when to tell. I don't know if it's still the protocol today now. There's different administrations, different this, whatever. Usually that way. I'm not sure how it operates now. But based on what the studies, that's how it went. But I just find it interesting that he could be with this, woman for so long and not tell her that. Now, me, I live a, regular life, but there's certain things I do, like this right here, this podcasting. I don't share this with everybody. It's not necessary. I don't need to do that. So I can kind of understand slightly. I had the conversation with a buddy of mine. So real quick, I'm in a circle of a bunch of artists, and we all do this. We rap, we podcast, and we talk a lot, and we share that. But generally, it's just we share that with each other. A lot of people, I just don't tell this because it's not necessary. It doesn't really come up. But as I date someone, do I tell them what I do? I podcast. And so we had this conversation, and the consensus was you tell her right away. And so, the queen, that we do music together, she didn't know at first, and I had to tell her. But I can't imagine going 50 years because we'd never tell her. It'd be virtually impossible. I mean, physically maybe, but even that being said, if I could, I don't think I could do that. I could be doing podcasts for 50 years and never tell my woman. I don't know. But I tell you what, the spy game is an interesting life. And they deal in information. And they deal in access. And for whatever was in Sandy's mind, he thought it was best to not tell her. Because they said sometimes by not telling, you're protecting them. Totally get that. But I found that fascinating. Now, I've seen online that people kind of say this show is kind of a, run in the mill. It's okay. And maybe it is. But I don't really think that shows in general that way. I think it depends how you view them. Now, I've been able to find lessons or interesting things in virtually everything I watch. And even if it's considered not that great, quotation mark, there's always lessons to me or things you can talk about or look into in everything. And now, I know I'm going really long, but the last thing, this show has touched on a lot of subjects I read about for many years. It's kind of reopened or opened back up. How does the Cap 26 view this now? Because, some of these subjects I hadn't thought about for a while. And how do I perceive them now? Because in the espionage world, these issues these topics are going to be timeless, most of them. And, if you happen to join the company someday, listen to these podcasts, hear what I say, and when you join there, see if anything I said is even somewhat kind of right. Probably not. Those books are lies, bro. But anyways, I appreciate you. Thanks for listening. And until next time, we'll see you. I'm a citizen of the world. Diogenes Laertius. Till next time, it's Captain Peace.
The Captain Talks.